Do it every day, the title of this live stream. And a couple of you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the running a mile every day. It's kind of my new endeavor. It's something that I've been doing for a short amount of time. It's something that I got a handful of people who have already joined up. And I guess I could share the Instagram page. I put something up the other day. I think it's very cool. And I kind of want to see where people end up falling off of this, if ever. Because I at the moment, don't ever plan on having anything short of like some sort of injury that entirely takes me out of it. And by injury, I mean a limb falls off. But I put up this page on the training page, Instagram, Hillerfit training page. And this is day one that everyone was started logging it. Day two, which had more people jump aboard. Day three, which appears to be a little bit less. And then day four, which appears to be about the same. And this is all just on Wodify. And actually, guys, a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about will have to do with Wodify. I think I've been using Wodify for a long time. This isn't a promotional pitch. It's just purely my preference. I think it's sweet that here's my phone. And when I click on Wodify, like the logo comes up and now it brings you to the workout of the day. Pretty simple. Scroll through all that. And when I plug in videos and whatnot, it works as well. But now on the bottom, it allows me to hyperlink the Instagram page. So I click it, that brings me to the Instagram page. If I click on the YouTube channel, it brings me to the Hillerfit Training YouTube channel. If I click on the Facebook group, it brings me to the Hillerfit Facebook group. I don't know why. I just think it's the neatest thing that on the bottom there are just hyperlinks that'll bring you directly to it. Dude, it's super sick. I had no idea. The other day I think there was some sort of a new update, Jenny, and I saw people kind of filter into the Facebook group. I saw people subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's just super intuitive and a lot. I don't understand the hate on Wodify. There's literal hate all over the internet when it comes to Wodify, but it's always been the easiest and greatest thing. And this is what this entire video is about, no way, because I just noticed this as well, which is what made me go live. This guy. This is my mile times forever. So I'm running a mile a day, and you can see this is my friend, I suppose, because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just a mile. But what if I just integrated every friend time I've ever had? So in 2015, I have a 219 year, and then this is probably triple Fran or Fantasyland or something. This is 1948. And I'm sure if I click through some of the notes here, I can see why this is so freaking long. But my fastest time in here is logged as 206. And then more recently, I've got 204. I think I put that one on the YouTube channel, maybe. Damn, that's quick. 204. But anyway, this isn't about Fran. This is about the miles. But I just noticed that it wasn't just when I started my Wodify, like the Hillerfit portal, which was in 2000. I put up a post recently about how I started my Wodify in 2000, but it goes all the way back to when I had my affiliate. Like when I was at my affiliate, I used Wodify as well. So now I have my old mile times, my 536, which is sweet. Because I think the mile a day thing started on Wodify for all of us right here. And I had been doing it a little bit in Korea with Dave. If you watch the Korea video, you would see in that. But now you see that, here we go. I just did a casual, nice 748 because I like to be better. I paced out the entire thing to make sure I beat it by a second, beat it by another second on the following day, and then kind of had a wattage goal. I've been doing a lot of these on the Assault Runner. So the wattage goal was to keep it over 1,000, and it spat out a 727 time. And then I wanted to beat that, and then I wanted to beat that. And now recently I just had my quickest mile in some time at 6:39. I think my old previous best mile, there we go, 6:35. I know that I ran that one on the Assault Runner just from recall. But 5:36 was something that I wouldn't have been able to remember. It's a 2016 mile that I ran. And I know that my best ever is 5:25. I did it in a competition. It was outside. I don't know how legitimate the distances were, but they told us it was a mile. And this whole thing is about the tracking of it. And I think it's going to be super cool to see this just kind of track out for 365 consecutive data points. And I have one more way that I want to kind of pivot this conversation. And every day I made a video yesterday on my inspiration behind the videos that I will make. And I have this circle of things that I'll check. So I'll wake up, do my morning stuff that I do, and I'll kind of just peruse the YouTube channel. I'll check channel 1, I'll check channel 2, I'll see how the analytics are going. And then I'll go to like the Instagram pages. I'll see what's going on there. I'll answer text messages. I'll check out emails. And then somewhere in there, I'll also check out Reddit. And this one popped up at the top, which I thought was very interesting. I've done almost 400,000 push-ups in the past 5 years. Clearly, that's a crazy great title. It's going to make me click on it. But it comes down to this. He's been doing it every single day. Or she. I'm assuming it's a dude. I think it's a dude. I don't know. That's the thing about Reddit. You never know who experienced top 6507 is. But you do the math on this, and over the course of 5 years, it ends up being about 260 something, or maybe 220 something a day. And he's not some fitness influencer. If you look at the comments, he says that he was actually some dude who was a little bit thicker. And it's cool that he has these things in here. It's like hard days matter more than the good ones. There's no motivation thing behind it. So this is something in particular that I thought about when I made a video a day for as long as I made a video a day for. It was, this is just what I'm going to do. I don't know if I need inspiration for something. It helped to have something to do something on, but I knew I was going to make a video. I wanted to make the best one that I could, and some were better than others. And like through that, you'll always garner skills through almost, I don't want to say like desperation, but necessity. You'll garner these new skills. Now, yesterday and a lot of these days in the mornings, Alexis and I work out. So I'll make sure I get into the garage a little bit earlier so that by the time she gets in here, I'm not wasting her time. So I know she gets in here at 7:30 approximately. So if I want to run a 8-minute mile, I'll start it at 7:22 or 7:23. For all I know, that's a skill that's going to pay off at some point in the future, just being early and being consistent about it. And if we don't work out, there have been days where I've been running this mile at 9 o'clock at night. And I know that there's other people in the group who are already seeing this sort of benefit, similar to the video thing. So if he had relied on motivation, he would have done 10% of what he had done. Your capacity is higher than you think. And I've noticed that I have gotten better at just running. And already there have been slight physique changes. Now, that might be a little bit from the Reddit True Tribe that I'm taking in conjunction with it. The progress sneaks up on you. That's the one that I wanted to mention in relation to this workout that we done on Saturday with 800 meters in, 800 meters out, and a 400-meter farmer's carry in the middle. The easiest thing about that were those 800s. And it's not like the farthest distance ever, but in more recent times, as a 200 and 205-pound testosterone-ridden former high-level exerciser, I had noticed that like 800s, that last 200 was like a little bit of a slog where it used to not be too big of a deal. And that most recently, like, that was the craziest, easiest 800 I'd ever run. I felt like a rabbit. I was just springing through. I felt like Chris Hinshaw just popping off of my freaking calves. I remember I was walking behind Chris Hinshaw at the 2011 CrossFit Games before I did any of this stuff, and I was just observing. And I looked at him, and he was just springing off of his calves. And I'm thinking, this is probably why he's such a good runner. He's done all of this running. He's so light. He's got these big old beefy calves. And I felt like him as I was running them, like, oh, this is what it's like to be a good runner and a Chris Hinshaw sort of dude. And it's always something that I think would have happened after all of these freaking consecutive days of running in a row. It's only been like 2 and some weeks and some change. Doing something every day changes your relationship with yourself. It gives you a buttload of confidence. And it's something that I think that people who need mandated rest days are without purpose. You know, people will say, I need to take a rest day because I'm destroyed. And they're rationalizing weakness, in my opinion. And it's very different than, and I'm going to change this up real quick because this is something that I think is very important. When I see people like the elite athletes, like the Hopper, Jason Hopper, he was on the Boys Interrupted with Justin and Dallin, and they're like doing things for a purpose. Dallin recently took that time off because of the rhabdo that he had experienced at Wadapalooza. It's very different if you're doing it for the purpose of getting better. Rest days are great there, but if the affiliate, and with a lot of people in particular, I see people using rest days as something to detract from tough. Like, I need a rest day. My body's beat up. I don't want to overtrain is another one. And I'm like, you son of a, you're not overtraining. You are 35% body fat. And I've seen the way that you work. And this stems back. There's a little bit of this that stems back all the time in which I was bodybuilding. And I had people who would tell me that they were overtrained and their workouts were 5 upper horizontal pressing exercises. They do 5 sets of 10 on the bench press, and they'd sit on their phone and they were working with, I don't know, 6 to 10 reps in reserve on each set of 10. And I'd be thinking, you're not overtrained. You are, it is literally impossible that you are overtrained when there are people out there who do 5 sessions a day every single day. And I know that's a little bit over the top, but clearly Dallin's overtrained. Clearly Jason's like doing a little bit of a rebound, a trampoline period so he can work harder in the future. But I suppose this is where I say I digress and I get back into this. This dude never posted a picture, which I was very curious about. And there was one more thing in here. I think it was, and I don't know why all of a sudden, because this, I don't rely on scientific literature. I like to see anecdotal things. And this is somebody who's done something for 5 years. And I don't know if I would consider him a push-up expert by any stretch of the imagination, but if you're not going to listen to this theoretical imaginary Reddit man who did all of these freaking push-ups and how it changed and affected his life and body, why would we, who are we going to listen to? Somebody who saw 5 random people on the street and did some sort of scientific study about how it changed their bodies. It's like, no, I'd much rather listen to theoretical Reddit imaginary man. And when we're looking at this, he said that, and this is great for people in CrossFit in particular. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Here we go. I think it worked a little bit more on muscle endurance. There's a certain point where you will get stronger. So if I'm a woman or a man and I can't do push-ups and you gather the ability to do push-ups, you will get a little bit more muscle mass. You will get better proprioception and muscle engagement through maybe doing 5. Let's say I am, let's just call it, who's the chick? This is Sydney Sweeney chick who just, Greg Doucette put up a video on her, which is why she's top of the mind. And she said that she put on 35 pounds of muscle in X amount of time for a current movie role. And she's not a jack chick by any stretch of the imagination, but if she put on 35 pounds, she would look like Amanda Barnhart. She would look bigger than Tia Toomey. She would be the craziest, most jacked looking chick on the planet, because as what she appears to be 120, 125 pound chick, put on 35 pounds of muscle. She has got that much body fat. She's sitting there with like 20, 25% body fat. She'd be crazy looking. Miss Olympia potential if she could do that. She didn't do it. She did not. She probably put on 0 muscle, if I'm being entirely honest with you. But let's say that she can do 3 push-ups, and that's it. If she gets the ability to do 10 and she can do 5 sets of 10, she will put on muscle as a result of that. She will look a little bit different from that additional muscle that she put on. And maybe she'll put on like 1/4 pound in upper body tissue, which isn't anything crazy. She'll put on the triceps, she'll put on the shoulder, she'll put on the chest. It'll be great. But once she gets the ability to do, I don't know, 10 sets of 10, she'd want to increase the load. She'd want to do something like a bench press. She'd want to do something like a different position push-up where she's changing the lever, so it's a harder push-up variant that she's doing. Because if you just do push-ups in CrossFit and things like CrossFit, all of a sudden it's aerobic. People who can do 150 wall balls unbroken are no longer getting a muscle building adaptation a lot of the time from doing wall balls. It's almost like they're going on an extended bike ride. And it's really the sport of CrossFit if you think about it. So think about Jeffrey Adler doing the cleat and jerks in 18.3. And 18 point, is that the one, or maybe it's 18.4? He smoked everybody. It was one of the box jumps and the pistols. 315 clean and jerks at the end. He went from doing something where some people will become anaerobic in a 225 pound bar to something where he was continuously aerobic. And because he continued to stay aerobic the whole time, he was able to smash everybody. I think he beat Fraser by a couple of minutes on that workout. And that's the entire sport of CrossFit. It's to take something like the push-up and Sydney Sweeney, who she can do like 3, and she's going to have a point where she's going to build muscle. And then if all of a sudden she can do 50 sets at 10 and she's doing 500 push-ups, it's a very aerobic exercise. She's not getting anaerobic about it. And if you're not becoming anaerobic, you're not adding muscle mass. All of a sudden you are now Jeff Adler. At some point, it's just like a curve. And you want to do it with everything. Jeff can do it with clean and jerks at 315 pounds. You can make it an aerobic exercise to the same way where you can make push-ups an aerobic exercise. Push-ups you can do much more quickly because it is a lighter thing and you can do them every day, anywhere. Geez, I feel like I'm on one today. I think that's really all I got. Wanted to start this thing off with running. Tracking running, yes, is for most people aerobic. And actually, if we want to really think about it, for some people, a slow run is anaerobic, and you must work your way into the contractions so that it becomes aerobic. The more aerobic you can be about things, the longer you can do them, and the better you will be at that thing at whatever pace you're deciding to do. I mean, of course, if you run really, 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 really hard, it's why the sprinters at the Olympics look the way they do, because the shredded abs and the big old quads, because they're doing anaerobic running. It's so simple, and I don't know how people don't understand this sort of thing. I'm going to check out some comments, and then I'm going to, this is crazy. 35 pounds in her shirt, maybe. I ran a half marathon at 135. This is insane, Sean. Like, how quick was your pace? What were your mile paces? If they were anything under 8, like 8-minute miles, that's wicked. Walk 2 miles 7 days a week. I have a husky. No matter what the weather is in Illinois, 10 years, running as hard as my knees. I like this. So what, I mean, I don't think you're looking for advice, but I've got a guy who I say just freaking put a vest on, put a ruck on, ruck with the husky, and then all of a sudden you're changing the adaptation you'll get. Avery, this is in relation to the rest day stuff earlier. She replaced with a lower intensity day. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people go swim. And this is one of the things, I can go on so many random tangents and so many random things. I had people doing individualized programming with a coach in particular, and they would have them do these 60-minute AMRAPs with, I don't know, 6 to 8 various exercises. And it was like step-ups, rushing kettlebell swings, dead bugs, windmills. And I'm just like, hey, I need you to go to a park, and I need you to just run around the park. Like, just literally figure out American Ninja Warrior things to do. And you're going to get a better, lower intensity day through randomly playing with some random children at a playground than you're going to then doing 60 minutes in the same gym with the old mundane people that are always freaking there. Oh, you do wear a 20-pound vest. Did you say that in there? No, you didn't. See? Okay, Sean, because I've seen people who can do the marathons, and they can do them for, I mean, hell, people are really, really good at running these days. When I look at one of the more impressive Hunter McIntyre things are always his heart rate metrics at the paces he's running in his YouTube videos. Now, all right, you want to do one thing real quick? This will be funny, and then we're gonna get off. I promise. I have the intention of keeping these a little bit shorter, but I do appreciate everybody checking in. It's cool. We're up to 30 people on channel 2 on a live stream on a random Wednesday. What's up? Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Hunter put up or maybe it was on his Instagram. It was so funny, and it shouldn't be funny, but it's Hunter's this big old manly man, right? And I've been with him a handful of times in person, and he's a badass dude. But then when I see him doing this, it's like, oh, this just makes me, this didn't make me feel very good, you know? And maybe this is my big old macho Andrewism of me, but I just wouldn't want Alexa seeing me doing these on the internet. Little froggy, burpy broad jumps, you know? Hunter's this macho, I'm going to melt the world down with my fitness. And he is a super fit, big dude. He's big. Broad shoulders, 6'1", and then he's on the runner. Great running mechanics, phenomenal athlete, crazy good hair, thick jawline. But this just gives me the ick. Anyway, this is cool, Jenny. I'm happy to hear that. I look forward to my run, if only on some days, because I know that when I'm done with the run, everything else feels great. There have been 2 or 3 days where the only fitness I've done on that day is the mile run, starting off from ground zero, just going out hard. What else do we got? I wore a vest to the park, but couldn't catch my 3-year-old crossing the street. Oh, no. Takes off the vest real quick. I just run the St. Jude Marathon every year because my daughter. Oh, and half marathon, Sean? Or were you? Oh, you were training for it. Got it. Roger. All right. That's all, guys. Just had to rant a little bit about all that. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.